Double jump has been found in the files for Black Ops 6 and players have managed to make it work in-game along with the wall running ability. Currently unclear if this is going to be used in the next Call of Duty or if it's leftover code. So I've been seeing a lot of these either COD news creators or leakers been posting about specifically the wall running and possibly jetpacks or double jumps. It's crazy because it seems like the sentiment toward these things right now is very positive. And it reminds me of in 2014 when everybody was panicking and pleading and begging for Call of Duty to go back to boots on the ground. And I was one of those people. And now I'm like, why am I siding with the people now that want Call of Duty to have the jetpacks again? Why am I wanting Call of Duty to be like an advanced warfare type game again? Like, it seems like a lot of other people. It was the same people then who were saying to go back to boots on the ground that are the same people saying now that they want this wall running and double jumping. The reason, and I promise you 100%, and this is why I'm so like mad right now, the reason this is because of freaking Halo. It's because of Halo. Halo was the pinnacle of FPS console shooters. Halo was the console FPS. It was the top. It was the peak of the mountain. There was no better game to play with your boys, with a party, multiplayer, whatever. Like, Halo was the game. And the only other competition that Halo had back then was Call of Duty. It wasn't even a competition. Like, maybe in terms of the studios and the developers like Microsoft and Activision at the time going like, they were the competition in their own minds. But for the gamers, we all ate. Because if I wanted the sci-fi, thrill of low gravity, laser guns, and flying a Banshee around and green missile rocketing somebody, I'd play Halo, right? And if I wanted the more realistic kind of arcadey, real inspired guns, I'd play Call of Duty. We went back and forth all the time. That Halo 3 era, like Halo 3 and MW2, was probably the greatest summer of my life. Going back and forth between those two games, depending on however I felt that day. And the reason now Call of Duty is able or encouraged to go to this wall running, double jumping, and jetpacking is because there's a market for it. Because nobody's playing Halo right now. And the reason nobody's playing Halo is because Halo was all about innovation. Halo was about innovating. Halo 1 to Halo 2 innovated. It changed the game. It made it better. You had more options, more content. You had multiplayer, Xbox Live. And then from Halo 2 to Halo 3, they expanded on that. They made more modes, more weapons, more enemy variety, more character variety, because you can play as an elite, not just Spartans or not just Master Chief. You also had Forge mode come out in Halo 3. So you had a lot of creativity and map customizations that you can do. And then from Halo 3 to ODST, ODST was sort of this like B game. It didn't really feel like a feature release to Halo, but even that innovated because that went back to a little bit of the roots, where you had health packs instead of, just shield regeneration. And then also Firefight. Does anybody remember Firefight? It was pretty much Halo's version of zombies. And you had constant waves of elites and grunts and jackals and all these, the Covenant coming down and fighting you, and you had to fend them all off. So Halo ODST innovated. Had a different kind of mode, different kind of game mode than just the classic multiplayer or Forge or campaign. It had Firefight, which was their take on, Gears of War's Horde or Call of Duty Zombies. And another little side tangent. Does anybody remember those? I think they were like Game Master achievements that you can get. If you got these really time-consuming, tough achievements, they're called the Game Master achievements, you were able to unlock recon armor. And that was the only way that you can get the recon armor in Halo 3 that didn't require a dev from Bungie giving it to you, which was insane. I remember grinding Firefight with friends for like 3 hours trying to get to that 4-hour mark that you needed to be able to get one of those Game Master achievements. Like things like that is what Halo brought to the table and innovated every year. And now that Halo has not just refused to innovate in its multiplayer space, but they decided to remove content that we've had in previous years and previous iterations, like the 2-player campaigns and very few maps, and they even took out Firefight. The reason Call of Duty and Call of Duty fans, back to my original point, why they want the wall running and the double jumps now is not because they're Call of Duty fans. It's because they're fans of gaming. They're fans of FPS. And if anything, a lot of these people probably loved Halo back in the day just as much as they love Call of Duty, like myself. So people are putting, it's like they're funneling their hatred for Halo currently and pouring it into Call of Duty and wanting Call of Duty to turn into Halo. Honestly, is a good and bad thing, I guess, for Call of Duty. I mean, you can't have the best of both worlds. You can't satisfy the orphans of the Halo community and try to appeal to them without also isolating your fan base, that strong fan base from back in 2013, 2014 that were praying and pleading for boots on the ground. So you can't satisfy both those people, unfortunately. But really, this all comes down to the fact that Halo Infinite, and I've been saying it for years, Halo needed a battle royale. Halo Infinite not having a battle royale during the peak of the battle royale craze, not only missing the opportunity of a massive trend in innovation in FPS, but also missing out on creating probably the perfect battle royale. You literally had the formula in front of you. Everybody and their cousin wanted to be Master Chief. Everybody wanted to wear that green suit of armor. Everybody wanted to be the last man standing, the last Spartan. You literally had everything you needed for a battle royale, and that would have made it so if Halo dropped the battle royale with static hot drops of that change maybe like every month or so, with power weapons that are on the ground with limited ammo, like if and all the vehicles, the Hornets, Wraiths, the Ghosts, the Banshees, like all these vehicles that you could have used to traverse a massive map on a Halo ring, most likely on a Halo ring, would have been incredible. It would have satisfied, it would have scratched the itch that everybody wanted, that everybody seems to now want, with the futuristic kind of style of combat in an FPS game. I mean, all these people, I don't think they're talking about wanting the double jump, the wall running, and the jetpacks. I don't think they're wanting that for multiplayer. I mean, I guess they are, right? But I feel like a lot of this comes down to Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone and their battle royale. If Halo had their futuristic style battle royale and Warzone was right alongside of it with boots on the ground, it would have been 2009, 2010 all over again. It would have been that era of gaming all over again. If you wanted to do the futuristic battle royale, you'd be playing Halo. If you wanted the more boots on the ground realistic, you'd be playing Call of Duty. Or boots on the ground arcadey. I don't even want to say realistic because we know what happened with MW2, the 2022 one. A little too much realism isn't good for anybody. But that's what you would have had. You would have had two competing, quote unquote, games, styles of FPS battle royales that we all would be enjoying right now. We all would be having a good time playing right now. We would be going back and forth, having a great time. It's sad and it sucks that Halo hasn't been that pinnacle, hasn't been that innovative force like it once was. It honestly seems like that burden falling on the shoulders of Call of Duty and Activision makes them not even know like they don't even know their own identity at this point. They don't even know what audience they're trying to cater to at this point. Like, it seems like the Call of Duty fan base is split into two camps. They're juggling appealing to both fan bases, which is not going to be good in the long run. It's going to cause a lot of issues because, I mean, what's that saying? When you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. Like, that's what's going to happen with Call of Duty when they introduce things like this back into the game. So I just wanted to get on a little soapbox there. I just wanted to rant about it because I saw this floating around on the internet. You know, people talking about the wall running and jetpacks coming back to Call of Duty. And like I said, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think I personally would enjoy it. Personally, I would like this. I really do genuinely believe the reason that this is even a topic of conversation and dividing a player base, like dividing a fan base like Call of Duty's, is because, funny enough, of Halo. Like, Halo's at fault for not being that competitor to Call of Duty that it once was. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't know. Like, just had to talk about this. Alrighty, see ya. Peace.